Hey everybody, Kappa Joe here again from Help Heal Veterans, and welcome again to another episode of Creativity Heals here at Namta, where we talk about creativity and how it helps support wellness, build resiliency, and help with the healing process when you may be going through some type of trauma. So we're here today with Max Black from Pebeo. Max, thanks for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm a professional artist. I work with Pebeo. We are an amazing paint company. We make a whole bunch of different projects, and Pebeo has brought me on board to get engaged with our community, get engaged with everyone, schools, foundations like yourself, anyone we can that we can help and bring creativity to people.
Awesome. So one of the questions I always ask everybody is that creativity, it's a pretty broad topic, but why do you think being creative can help somebody either with their mental health, make them feel better about themselves, or help with the healing process?
Creativity, in my opinion, is where the healing starts. You can't, I told this one, I taught a group class once, little kids everywhere, and I had one kid and I told them all, okay, I want you to imagine a creature. And I had one little kid, she looks at me, she goes, I don't know what to put. And I go, well, you just imagine a creature, just anything, just imagine anything. And she looks at me in silence, I go, what, do you imagine anything ever? And she says, no. And I go, okay, that's your homework. How are you going to invent a better world if you can't imagine it? Step one, I don't care what you paint today, but today you're going to imagine. And that was her only work. You cannot heal and build a better world if you cannot imagine it. That's the importance of creativity. It is the single seed that holds everything together, that starts the germination. That's why it's so important.
Awesome. So when you talk about planting that seed, do you have any stories of somebody who's planted that seed has really made a big impact in their life?
A lot. I have the fantastic privilege of getting to bring art supplies all over the community, so I do get the amazing experience of getting to see a lot of that come to life. One of the foundations that I do work with a lot is they work with homeless people, people that are having issues with food safety, food security, having been incarcerated, a lot of PTSD. And I've been able to actually watch a lot of them through creativity, through doing artwork. And it doesn't have to be pretty artwork. It'll be just sometimes just expression of paint on a canvas. And you actually see them resolving things that they have never been able to tap into before. Things that they may have even themselves actually have locked away. I've had someone start a painting and they're just like painting trees. And it starts just as trees, just whatever. And then as they're going through it, it unlocks a memory. And that memory will be something that they may not have thought about in years. And then they start to cry. And if you've ever been through healing, you know that crying part, that's when you know you're getting somewhere. That only comes because of that. And I've had that happen so often. It's unbelievable. In fact, actually, my background, so I'm a professional artist. I've been a professional artist my whole life. I come from a background of artists. And one of the things that I believe in the arts is that all the arts are actually interdisciplinary. They all connect with each other. So you might paint one day, you might act on a different day. You might be interested in writing, and it's very normal if you're a creative person to go through that journey. So my background originally was a lot of theater, music, performance, and then later on I segued through my own sort of mental health journey into visual arts. And in fact, it was a veteran who dragged me to art school as he was doing after, I think, 28 years as a combat engineer. And after Afghanistan, he took a break and we went to art school together, and the rest is history.
Awesome.
So it was actually a veteran who brought me into visual arts.
So you talk art school now, creativity be a pretty big bucket.
Yeah.
You know, it could be like, okay, like for me, I tried it. I'm a musician. I play guitar. You know, so that's kind of how my stick, as it were. But it could be anywhere from like somebody like from sculpts, you know, kindergarten or craft and paints and stuff like that, or fine arts. So does it really matter what you do, creatively to get the benefit?
It literally doesn't matter. In fact, actually, I'm going to twist it around. I think the more that you take yourself too seriously in your art, the more you are actually losing the healing element. I've seen a lot of artists that have incredible training, unbelievable skill, do nothing with it. Because they actually get blocked by this pretty picture syndrome. They get stuck trying to just make pretty pictures instead of really focusing on the actual process and letting it flow. So in fact, actually, a lot of the time when I'm talking about healing art, I'm telling people to stop trying to make pretty pictures.
Yeah.
Let it go. Stop that. And instead, sometimes it's even just, honestly, this is so important, it's so huge, is coloring books. I know a lot of, I have a friend, somebody who I love very, very dearly who's going through cancer treatment. And coloring was a huge part of it. And it's a big part of their healing. It actually helps you relax for one, but it helps kind of readjust the mind, readjust the space. A friend of mine, her husband had cancer, and during he's in remission now, but during his entire process, it was quite serious, it was quite advanced. And so as a gift, I gave his wife coloring supplies and coloring books, that's it. And every week she would message me on how much that was helping. And it was really, she said that literally saved her life as much as his. So no, whatever you're doing, even if you're sitting there, was one student, she was amazing, she was in her 50s, and she was one of my early art students, and she would pay me in cash, and she would make a beautiful decoration with the cash. She'd organize it in a beautiful, creative way. That's art. Who says it's not?
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Don't judge it. The second you're judging, you're already lost. So let go of the judgment.
Okay. Well, this is the next question, because sometimes people prejudge. I mean, sometimes it's kind of hard to have a bar. You know, the bar to be creative sometimes is perceived to be, my stuff. Like when you're a child, I don't want to do this because my painting's ugly, or my friends might laugh at me, or like when you're not really don't grow up in the arts, like for a lot of military folks, like men and women, well, that's kind of the foo-foo, touchy-feely stuff, so we don't do that stuff. So you may be a little bit of caution before you kind of take on a project. So what do you tell somebody who's maybe a little bit nervous about taking that first step?
Being brave is incredibly hard. Being brave is unbelievably difficult, and only the people who don't dare to be brave know that. Like if you don't take the chance to try something new, you don't know what might happen. I would definitely, first of all, suggest as well to, if there's somebody in your life who's going to tease you about being creative and taking care of yourself, I think you should also reassess that relationship.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, people who really care for you are going to actually want you to be well. The other thing too, there are very, very cool people that do art, that do creative stuff. So that's the other thing as well. Start with something that you're comfortable with. And the other thing too is keep it private. If you're uncomfortable with it, you don't also need to share it. And that's an important thing too. When you're ready to share it, you can.
Right.
But this is something that I've worked with a lot of people that they might be uncomfortable with things, is get a sketchbook and keep it private for a little bit until you're comfortable. If that's your sacred space and that's what you need, we're talking about art for healing, not art for show. So keep it private. There's nothing to stop you.
That's great advice. It's like, I said I play music, so I want to be a songwriter. So I've been playing with it. And some stuff I've written I wasn't really happy with. Yeah. And then I had a friend who told me, hey, write stuff down that you don't want any people to know about you.
Yes.
And I will say some of the stuff that I've written for myself has been very healing, very powerful, I guess. Yeah. So Pebeo is, you guys are a great creative company.
Yes.
So does wellness and how your consumer is going to be, maybe what the benefits a consumer will get from your product, does that kind of go into how your product design?
It goes definitely into our brand entirely, in fact. It is a big part of also our brand is engaging in our community, connecting with people. We want to be there for you. It really is about the paint for the people. Our materials are really accessible. We try to be there as much as we can for people. We want to engage with people, contact us. We love to engage. Us, it's really about community and building real community. Right. Really being on the ground and connecting with people as much as we can. We support, that's even how I got participated with them. Initially is they actually sponsored one of my projects. They are very, very supportive of getting into our community. The other thing too, we have a lot of materials that are geared towards, first of all, there's any art form you want to do. We have an incredible lines of all sorts of things. We have leather paint, we have glass paint, we have acrylics, oils, markers. We have tons of different stuff that whatever angle you want to go in your own creative journey you can. And a lot of them mix, so you can go wherever you want. But the other thing as well, a lot of our stuff is really designed for helping, like there'll be some non-toxic things as well. We have just a whole bunch of different lines to try to make it accessible and available to everyone we possibly can. We keep our price points low, even though it's super high quality.
Right.
We want to keep it so you can use it and enjoy it.
That's great. That non-toxic support, though, we support a lot of folks who are being to a veterans home or in the hospital settings, so you got to be careful what you bring in. Some of these clinical settings.
Yeah,
great.
and that's a big thing. One of our brand new lines actually, in fact, has no cadmiums in it, so that means no heavy metals.
Right.
And that's a brilliant, brilliant thing, because that means that's less poisons going down on our waterways, but also a big thing as well, especially with acrylic paint. There's a weird thing with acrylic paint, we often use our fingers in it, sort of thing. That means those heavy metals are going directly into your skin. You don't want that. With ours, because we don't have the cadmiums in it, you don't have to worry about that.
Oh, awesome. Well, Max, we talked about a lot of stuff. Is there anything that you want to share that we haven't addressed?
Only thing I would say is that we've had so much fun working with you guys. I really loved your project so much.
And I love your
had
shoes.
A great time.
Those shoes rock.
I painted them with our leather paint. No, we've had a great time working with you guys and look forward to hearing more with you.
So thanks. So where can people find out more about you and the company and whatnot?
You can actually visit us on Instagram at Pebeo __ USA. You can I'm sure they'll tag us in it below. You'll be able to actually follow us. You can check us out there. Reach out to us, anything, DM us, see if you want to collab. We're absolutely interested in playing with everybody. We just want to hang out and do art and have fun. So I mean, can it be worth not? I mean, really.
Well, thanks so much, Max. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks
for sharing the insights. And thank you for listening in. And we'll be back later with more Creativity Heals.